spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age.
That these are not real bananas. We got it from the supermarket.
Hey yo, we are back at it again. Today we'll be diving into some videos that has the internet in an uproar. But before we get to it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. Help me get there, alright? And I appreciate all the support. Let's get it.
This celebrity exposes that he is a human clone.
Actually freeze your body.
Well, what happened with my first gen is they took the skull because he initially had written in a will to the Whaling movement that if something were to happen to him, they can ship the skull over immediately to Clonate, so they can remove a fragment of bone that's located here, and then this fragment of bone stores all of your memories and consciousness, and with that they can make a sufficient replica of yourself, a reproductive version of you, including your memories, and you can be selective as to which ones you keep or don't keep. This process has been around for quite some time. Like Dolly the sheep was cloned back in the late 70s, early 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Dolly the sheep, yeah, I remember that. And they clone a lot of animals.
Yeah, Clonate, don't want to say too much information. This is going to be broadcast on the internet.
I remember when Kid Buu dropped a video on Instagram years ago with his clone, and I refused to believe his act then. Now he's on Vlad speaking of his first generation clone that wrote a will to the railings. I'm still having a hard time digesting that, but if this idea is remotely true, we're living in a scary world.
So my mother was showing me that she opened a banana that she thinks that these are not real bananas. We got it from the supermarket, but when she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very tight and doughy. I've never ever seen a banana like that. I don't know if it's just our banana or if it's this brand.
From Costco.
From Costco, but at the end of the day, it looks very, very fake and Play-Doh-y. Does anyone else know what happened?
I surely don't. For us grocery shoppers, we may need to do the banana bend test before we check out at Costco.
Now, how many of you know about the object in Greenland? A couple of you, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, there is a spacecraft that has melted out of the ice in Greenland. As you know, the North Pole has melted completely. You can go from London to Moscow or to Russia by going over the North Pole now. All the ice cap is gone. The last place that has ice on it was Greenland. Greenland had a 18,000-foot ice cap on it. Well, the spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age 50,000 years ago. It's a weather machine. It's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, and 2 miles high. The people that lived in it were called the Mois. If you draw a straight line from the spacecraft to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan Peninsula, Great Pyramid at Mitsubishi, it ends up on Easter Island where the Mois have been dug out of this dirt. The heads on Easter Island, well, 2 years ago they finally went ahead and they excavated, and they're all 65 to 85 foot people, full body carvings. And these were the people that lived in the spacecraft that was uncovered that's melting out of the ice in Greenland. So when you think we've been alone, these people have been up there for 50,000 years. The spacecraft is still active after 50,000 years. It has a 200-mile dampening field where no electrons can flow into it. In 1947, a B-52 bomber flew into that pattern, into the dampening field, when trying to fly between Maine and London. As a result of that, they lost power and crashed in Greenland. As they sent in rescue B-52 bombers to rescue them, they hit that same dampening field, but they veered off. They just ricocheted off of it. And by testing, trying to get to these guys, they were able to bring a circumference and find out that there was an object 200 miles to the center of this field. On the southwest corner of Greenland, there is a small community. It's the only community on the island of Greenland. That community is a military post, CIA, that uses a compressed air generator to operate diesel engines to run a Caterpillar to run back and forth to 200 miles from the base to the object in Greenland. A lot of our technology comes from the reverse engineering out of the spacecraft. It is still functional and is still in operation. So it's pretty important what this thing is. All the nations worldwide are up there with the United Nations, and they're all acting, working together.
I'm always taken back when I hear big numbers like 50,000 years ago, but if this is true, and this spacecraft is responsible for the ice age, and now all the ice caps are melting, it's safe to say that those guys are done playing hide and go seek. We might all get paid a visit one day.
You know what's crazy too? If you type in Illuminati backwards on Google search,
yeah,
you know what it comes up?
What?
So it sends you straight to the National Security Agency site.
National Security, yeah. What's that?
The National Security Agency site, fam. The government.
Wait, if you type it in?
If you
what do you
type
mean?
in, if you spell Illuminati backwards into Google, then the first link of what they'll send you is the National Security.
Is that true?
Yes. You can type it in.
I type it in Google right now.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Let's try this shit.
Yeah.
There's no way. How do you spell Illuminati backwards though?
ITA.
ITA. NIM. ULLI.
Mink.
Oh shit.
Mink.
What the
Mink.
What the Why is that? Why does it do that?
Oh no. Why do you think? Stupid.
I'm not sure why it's designed in such a way that spelling Illuminati backwards gets you to the NSA.com website. Unless if spelling Illuminati backwards symbolizes a whole different meaning. I'm curious. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Keep around and finna find out about these zombie viruses in Antarctica. And this video is for entertainment purposes only.
As if there isn't enough to worry about already, scientists have unearthed pathogens trapped in the frozen ground and coined them zombie viruses. And it's only a matter of time before more will surface without researchers and pickaxes. That's because global warming is thawing ancient permafrost, which scientists have known for years is releasing more previously trapped greenhouse gases. Now, a team of European researchers has revived nearly 24 viruses that were locked in ice, including one that is 48,500 years old. These are mainly capable of infecting amoeba microbes, but they do show the danger for reviving a disease that could infect humans is very real and very problematic.
I'm not sure about the virus that's claimed to be 40,000 years old. I mean, who's counting? But we all experienced what happened in 2020 globally, so the thought of reviving 2,000 viruses is baffling.
This scroll completely breaks down April 8th and the collapse of this simulation. Check this out.
7 years ago, we had an eclipse. That eclipse went over 7 cities named Salem. Now, exactly 7 years later, we have this other eclipse on April 8th going over 7 cities named Nineveh, not to mention the city of Rapture, Indiana. God says in the book of Luke that before he comes back, he will give us signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. We also have the moon, which is turning to rust. The Greek origin of that rust, hematite, means blood. He says the moon will turn to blood before the terrible day of the Lord. The Euphrates River drying up. We have wars and we have rumors of wars. Not to mention every other biblical prophecy that has already been fulfilled. We are literally in the last seconds of the last days, y'all. And our God is so loving and kind enough to warn us before he comes back. We are in the last seconds of the last days. And it's so frustrating to be on this app sometimes. I just got a video of 1.5 million views taken down because I was talking about how tired I am of this world. Tired of looking up in the sky and seeing the lines. I'm tired of our food being poisoned, whatever. It just reminds me of the enemy's plans and how active he is to distract anybody right now, because he knows that the time is near. He knows that God is coming back soon. And so he's going to do his valiant effort to try to get as many souls to go to where he lives. And I just want to remind everybody that you have time right now. This eclipse is not the rapture. It is a direct warning from God. It is written about thousands of years ago, and it is coming to pass. We are watching biblical prophecy play out.
Hey, whether you believe in the Almighty Creator or not, we're living in some interesting times right now. The eclipse from last month that went over 7 cities named Nineveh was no coincidence. But hey, if you know, you know.
Have y'all seen this yet? Right here in Brazil, Recife, Brazil, a 25-story high-rise building is burning. Y'all can see this right here, y'all. Look at it at the top, but that looks like it's a crane as well. What's going on, right? Lately it's been cranes. Have y'all noticed that? The cranes in Turkey and this over here And all these destructions going on. What is going on, y'all? You guys can see, did those lights of the building just go on and off? So I just realized that the light of this building goes on and off. Look at this, y'all. I just realized this. Look. So I slowed it down, fast forward and reverse, but look, it's all the buildings. Look at this. Why is that? Even the building on this side, check it out. Look at that, y'all. What? Don't you guys find that weird? I literally just stumbled upon this. Why would that be going on, y'all? And it didn't look like there was a cut to the camera either.
My condolences to all who suffered a loss, but for the mere fact the lights in the surrounding buildings were going off and on in sync, makes me think that this may have been an electrical fire, and the city power lines may have gotten compromised.
And with the tragic killing of a 6-year-old Muslim boy in Illinois in what we're investigating as a federal hate crime. But as I said a few moments ago, on top of the homegrown violent extremist and domestic violent extremist threat, we also cannot and do not discount the possibility that Hamas or another foreign terrorist organization may exploit the current conflict to conduct attacks here on our own soil. We have kept our sights on Hamas and have multiple ongoing investigations into individuals affiliated with that foreign terrorist organization. And while historically our Hamas cases have identified individuals located here who are facilitating and financing Hamas's terrorism overseas, we're continuing to scrutinize our intelligence to assess how the threat may be evolving. But it's not just Hamas. As the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, the Iranians, for instance, have directly or by hiring criminals, mounted assassination attempts against dissidents and high-ranking current and former U.S. government officials, including right here on American soil. And along those lines, Hezbollah, Iran's primary strategic partner, has a history of seeding operatives and infrastructure, obtaining money and weapons, and spying in this country going back years. Given that disturbing history, we are keeping a close eye on what impact recent events may have on those groups' intentions here in the United States and how those intentions might evolve.
Well, first I want to thank Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn for always being so forward in welcoming us to their home state of Texas and for organizing opportunities for us to go and visit the southern border of the United States with Mexico. We have just returned from our southern border. And it is painfully clear that with Joe Biden's open border policy, our country is really at an increased threat for a terrorist attack. A couple days before we got there, alert border agents were able to seize immigrants carrying with them IEDs, explosive devices really tailor-made for terrorism. They were the size of cannonballs. We went on a midnight patrol on Thursday night and encountered a group of migrants from as far away as Moldova. The one man, in his middle-aged man, was there, said he was traveling as a family. That's because families receive special treatment. He had a young girl with him, maybe about the age of 10, said it was his daughter. She looked scared. There was no sign of affection, and there was no mother. You know, we used to do DNA testing to make sure this really was a family. No, Joe Biden stopped that testing, so now it's much easier to exploit children. You've seen the statistics, over 8 million border crossings, illegal border crossings under Joe Biden. Last month, another all-time high. It's gotten so bad that the Homeland Security has raised the terror threat because so many people are coming in illegally, and there are so many gotaways, people that run and hide in an effort to not be detected. 2 million of those. Look, if only 1 out of every 1,000 of those was a terrorist, you're still talking about thousands of people in this country illegally anywhere they could be. And remember, in terms of 9/11, it only took a dozen terrorists to take down the World Trade Center as well as hit the Pentagon.
So there you have it, and again, that was today. Now, as more information comes out on this, I will be sure to share it with you here on the channel, as a lot of people are saying we are edging closer and closer to World War III with the conflicts going on in the Middle East. Now, in addition to that, I also share with you some updates of attacks happening on U.S. campuses and protests taking place around the United States, and we're hearing that things are intensifying. It's likely only going to get worse.
We definitely need to figure out a solution for the border, but on the other hand, the ongoing turmoil that's occurring on various university campuses, especially the Ivy League schools, is terrible.
Mississippi news. Yazoo County. Get out. If you live in Yazoo City, the levee is about to break. The Yazoo County Sheriff's Office just released this. Again, Yazoo. If you or someone you know lives in the East Brooks Division of Highway 16 in Yazoo County, you need to evacuate immediately. The levee is about to break. Please share this with people that you know that live in Mississippi right now. Right now, y'all. Evacuate. The levee is about to break. Please get this out. Share this. Post it on your Facebook. Get this out. People in Yazoo City. Highway 16. You need to evacuate immediately. The levee is about to break. Get out. Share this.
Considering that warning from the Yazoo Sheriff Office came out a month ago, at this point, we definitely need an update on the folks that live in that part of Mississippi. We don't need a repeat like New Orleans during Katrina. Alright guys, so this took us to the end of this video. If you stuck all the way through, I greatly appreciate everything. But before you leave, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys on the next one, but until then, peace and love.
I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better.